Mr. Harris here, and welcome to a new video of Chapter 4.3. This we're going to talk about what are variations, their causes, and finally we'll talk about the different types of variations. Okay, first off, we have a picture over here of human beings, living things. They're living things, of course. And you'll notice that us human beings, our appearance is different. We're all very unique. We all have our own traits, characteristics, personality, so on and so forth. But what makes us so unique? What are the causes of this? So, the differences among individuals of the same kind of living things, we have a specific term for that, and we call it variations. One point to note over here is that it has to be the same kind of living thing. Okay, you cannot compare, for example, you cannot compare a human being to some other kind of living thing. You cannot compare a cat to a bear, for example. So please make sure we're talking about the same kind of living thing. And the differences that occur or that can be found in the same kind of living thing, we call them variations. Say, for example, we've learned about some of us, we have dimples, some of us we don't, some of us are able to roll our tongues, some of us can't. So, what causes variations to begin with? So, earlier in this unit, we've learned about genetic information, and we know that variations it can be determined by the genetic information that we inherit from our parents. And this particular statement over here, does this sound familiar to you? We've learned this already, and we have a specific term for this statement over here. It is called heredity. So, simply speaking, variations variations are caused by heredity. So you inherit them genetically from your parents. So the genetic information that you inherit that causes the variations in us human beings and other kinds of living things, of course. Most variations, however, most variations, interestingly, they're caused by both heredity and the environment. Say, for example, in the environment caused by the climate, the food we eat, and our experiences in life. So let's use one example over here. Let's talk about the weight. So weight of a person can be affected by heredity. Say, for example, if his or her parents, they're pretty large in size, they're heavy in weight, then most likely then the child will also be the same. However, it could also be affected by the environment. So if we eat too much, then of course, obviously, we'll also become heavier. So just to wrap up this quick part over here, the differences among individuals of the same kind of living things, we call them variations. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, most variations they're caused by both heredity and the environment. Okay, let's move on. Let me write over here. Most variations are caused by both the heredity and the environment. So very good. They have a summary part over here, so make sure you're also writing it down on your textbook. Okay. Oh, one more reminder, please mind of your spelling. In the exam papers, I saw a lot of spelling mistakes, so please make sure that you're also working on your spellings. There are two types of variations I want to talk about. The first type is called discontinuous variation, and the second type of variation is called continuous variation. This continuous variation is very, very simple. You only have two possibilities. Only two. Either you have it or you don't have it. Either you can or you cannot. Okay? Either you can, you cannot. Either you have it or you don't have it. There is no halfway in between. There's nothing in between. Okay? There cannot be anything in between. So what do I actually mean? Let's have a look at one example over here. So before that, oh yeah, there's another term for this. We call it differences that fall into distinct categories. So the word distinct would mean clear differences, I would say. So there's a clear difference. So we call that discontinuous variation. So let's have a look at the example over here. So some of us, we're able to bend our thumb backwards, whereas some of us cannot. So either you can or you cannot. So another example could be, say for example, our gender. So you're either a male or a female. There's and also, for example, your blood type, your blood group. So either you have a blood type of O, A, B, whatever. Okay? Continuous variation over here, on the other hand, they are the differences that vary over a continuous range of values. There is a continuous range of values. What does that actually mean? Let's have a look at some examples. So over here it could be our height and weight. So some of us, for example, we are 160 cm, some of us are 165 cm, some of us are even taller, 170 cm, so on and so forth. So even you can have somewhere in between 162, 168. I think you get the point, right? Continuous variation, you can have a wide range of value. It's unlike discontinuous variation. For discontinuous variation over here, it's you either can or cannot. You either have or you don't have. But for continuous variation, you have a wide range of value. So our weight, on the other hand, for example, you can have you can either be 50 kg, you can be 51, you can be 55, and keeps on. There are different values over here. Another example could be your handspan. So some of us may have a longer range over here. Some of us may have a shorter one. So it all depends. So to summarize, variations that fall into distinct categories, the ones that have a very clear difference, obvious difference, they're called, what are they called? Yes, discontinuous variations. Discontinuous variations. Okay, so either you can, you cannot, you have, or you don't have. And the other type of variations, variations that vary over a continuous range of values, they're called continuous variations. All right, so that sums up this video. So in this video, I talked about what are variations, the causes of variations. It can be due to both heredity and the environment. And finally, we talked about the two types of variations, discontinuous variations and continuous variations. All right, so this wraps up this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.